Imagine this. A man in his mid-40s enters a cafe. In the other room, there is a younger woman who sees him. He's assertive, relaxed, collected. She senses his presence before he says a single word. She's drawn to him, not by what he wears, not by how much money he has, but by the relaxed aura he possesses. But wait, there's a catch. In 20 minutes of talking, he gets one thing wrong, one thing that immediately makes the attraction dead. She loses respect for him, and she never calls him back. So what happened? Gentlemen, today we're diving deep into one of the most important rules every older man must understand when dealing with younger women. This video is not about tricks. It's not about being flashy. It's about Stoicism. About mastering yourself before you ever try to win someone else. And trust me, if you ignore this, you will lose her respect, no matter your age, wealth, or looks. Welcome to Stoic Algo, where we take the ancient wisdom of Stoicism and apply it to the issues of modern men, mindset, dating, attraction, and life. And today's subject is bold, perhaps even provocative. Never do this with a younger woman if you're an older man. By the end of this video, you'll know why younger women are naturally attracted to older men, the specific error that ruins this attraction, and how Stoicism will keep you from ever making it again. See, most men think younger women are only interested in money, status, or lifestyle, but that's not the case. If it were, billionaires wouldn't divorce, celebrities wouldn't get cheated on, money and power only get you in the room. But your behavior determines whether you stay. And here's the Stoic secret. It's not what goes on outside of you that counts. It's how you react inside. Let me give you a brief anecdote. There was a fellow named Daniel. He was 48 years old, intelligent, successful, well off. He dated a woman in her mid-20s. Initially, she was intrigued by him, his measured tone, his maturity, the fact that he wasn't doing the boys' stuff her age. But soon, within a couple of weeks, Daniel began exhibiting signs of insecurity. He kept saying, "Do you really like me? Are you certain I am not too old for you? Are you speaking to guys your age?" Gentlemen, do you see the issue here? The same maturity that drew her was gone the instant he began craving approval. His bristle was replaced by timidity. His assurance was replaced by doubt. And very, very quickly, her respect for him perished. Now let me ask you, have you ever found yourself caring too much about what a younger woman thinks of your age? Have you ever felt compelled to overcompensate, to show you're worthy enough? If so, you've already brushed up against the error we're discussing. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This is where older guys tend to go wrong. Rather than standing tall as who they are, they allow fear of rejection to dictate how they act. Rather than leading with steady authority, they bend, they pursue, they attempt to impress. But here's the thing, as soon as you attempt to prove yourself, you've already lost. So in today's trek, we're going to walk through this step by step. We'll discuss why younger women are interested in older men in the first place, the specific behaviors that can kill that interest, and how Stoicism helps you remain in control, no matter what. Because remember, age is not your flaw, age is your asset, but only if you understand how to leverage it correctly. Stick with me, because next up, we're diving into the psychology of attraction, why younger women are attracted to older men, and what they really want that most men just get completely wrong. It will shift the way you think about relationships permanently. Part 2. The psychology of attraction. In the previous part, we learned the biggest mistake older men make with younger women, losing their frame by chasing validation. But first, we have to know why younger women are even drawn to older men in the first place. Because if you see the psychology behind it, you'll know you don't need to force anything, you don't need to pretend, and most definitely don't need to overcompensate. You just need to be a man of substance. Now here's a plain fact. Women are biologically and psychologically programmed to look for security, stability, and strength. Not physical strength, but emotional and mental strength as well. Younger women tend to find these qualities in older men because older men have had more time to construct themselves, more time to fail, to learn, to grow. Consider that. At 20, were you centered and peaceful, or were you still trying to get your act together? Most dudes in their early 20s are searching for pleasure, prestige, or instant pleasure. By the time you reach your 30s, 40s, or older, you've weathered storms. You've discovered patience. You've gained experience, and that insight radiates. Let me paint you a picture. Emily's 25. She's got guys her age around her. They're great, but most of them are aimless. They become jealous. They ghost her one week and pursue her the next week, and they're not mature enough to have a serious conversation about the future. Then she meets Richard, 42. He's not working too hard at it. He's not stuck to his phone. He talks less than he listens. He walks like he knows the direction of his life. And for Emily, that's attractive. Why? Because he's not a boy, he's a man. The serenity she experiences in his presence is something she never gets from men her age. That serenity is a kind of security. That stability is a scarcity. That's why she's attracted. Stoic lesson. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, once spoke these words: "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Do you see how this is relevant here? Younger guys tend to want it all. They pursue attention, approval, excitement. But a really stoic, older guy doesn't need constant approval. He doesn't pursue. He doesn't beg. He just is. And that's really compelling, because women don't want to mother a guy. They don't want to be dating a boy. They want someone who can hold up their end of the deal, a man who won't break under stress. So ask yourself this moment, when you're with women, do you radiate calm strength, or do you crave approval in secret? Do you demonstrate patience, or do you become reactive? Because attraction is not as much about what you say and more about the energy that you bring into the room. Now let's set the record straight on a gigantic misconception. A lot of older men believe younger women simply want money. Yes, resources are involved, but let me tell you, if money was the key, rich men would never be dumped. But we know that's not the case. In fact, it's not money, it's what money means. Money conveys discipline, control, success. But if a man possesses money but behaves insecurely, clingily, or desperately, she will still leave. Don't delude yourself into believing that a younger woman is interested in merely your wallet. She desires your presence. She desires your insight. She wishes to feel protected within your structure. But here's the risky aspect. The same qualities that make you desirable as an older man, wisdom, calmness, strength, can vanish in a second if you behave needy, insecure, or afraid of the age difference. That's why so many older men lose the younger women they win. They begin strong, but then doubt invades them, and rather than leading with stoic confidence, they fold. In short, younger women are drawn to older men not due to surface stuff, but due to what you embody: stability, strength, wisdom. But let there be the warning. None of that counts if you commit the instant death penalty that destroys attraction. And then in the second section, we'll dissect that. The deadly sin older guys do with younger women. Trust me, this is the pit 90% of men fall into, and if you don't avoid it, you'll lose her respect for life. Part 3. The deadly blunder older guys make. In the previous segment, we analyzed why women prefer younger guys. It's not finances, it's not status, it's stability, serenity, and insight. But here's the tragedy. The majority of older men squander this inherent advantage within seconds. They enter a relationship with all the power of experience and then toss it away with a single easy blunder. So what is it? The ultimate error older men commit with younger women is losing their frame. They abandon their poise, they crave constant validation, and they cease to be the level-headed, centered man she was initially drawn to. Imagine this. When you meet her, you're in your authentic power. You're relaxed, you're confident, you're not trying to impress her. That's what attracts her. But as soon as the relationship gets serious, anxiety sets in. What if she leaves me for a younger man? Am I worthy of her? I have to show her I can keep up. And just like that, the very same man who was cool and confident begins to behave insecurely. He texts too much, he over-explains, he becomes jealous. Gentlemen, this is the quickest way to end her respect. Let's use an example. James, 45, is introduced to Anna, 27. Initially, Anna is amazed by his presence. He's not playing games, he's self-assured, and she feels secure around him. Some weeks later, James begins to notice that she continues to chat with her friends who are his age. He begins comparing himself to younger men. He poses too many questions. Do you wish I was younger? Are you sure you're not embarrassed? Anna didn't go away because of his age. She went away because of his insecurity. She went away because he lost his frame. Gentlemen, keep this in mind. Women don't leave you because you're older. They leave you because you begin to act weak. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Your age is an external occurrence. You can't alter it. But your attitude, your temperament, your capacity to stay calm in stress, that's within your own powers." The error is when older men give that power over to fear. And when fear is in the driver's seat, you no longer control the relationship. You're behind, you're trailing, you're proving. But a Stoic man never proves himself. He just is. Let's be brutally honest here. Young women don't sit around going, "Oh no, he's too old." No. They think, is he self-assured? Does he treat himself with respect? Can he stand up for himself? And the instant you demonstrate insecurity regarding your age, you validate her fears. You tell her by your behavior, "Yes, I'm not good enough." And what do women admire most? A man who admires himself. Lose that and you lose everything. Now let me ask you straight. Have you ever been with a younger woman where you came on strong but then overcompensated afterwards? Perhaps you attempted too much in trying to impress her, spent money on her she did not request, or over-rationalized yourself. What was the outcome? Likely, you lost her respect, because the more you prove, the less she believes. So how do we correct this? It begins with discipline. A Stoic man does not respond emotionally to every doubt or fear. He waits, he thinks, he selects his actions deliberately. Rather than asking her, "Do you like me despite my age?" he says to himself, "I cannot control her mind. I can only control my presence." Rather than pursuing, he leads. Rather than doubting, he proceeds with confidence. This is how you hold frame. This is how you hold respect. So here's the point. The deadly error older men make with younger women is not their age. It's not how they look. It's losing their frame due to insecurity and neediness. If you want her respect, you must never cave to fear. And in the second half, we will see why respect is more than charm, and how younger women will probe you time and again to determine whether you actually deserve it. Part 4. Respect and charm. In the previous part, we exposed the lethal error older men make with younger women, losing their frame, chasing, and being insecure. But here's the point. Even if you never become needy, even if you're confident, there's still something more potent that decides whether the relationship lasts or dies. It's not charm, it's not jokes, it's not staying young. It's respect. Because here's the truth. A younger woman might be attracted to your confidence, but she will only stay if she respects you. Why respect matters more than charm. Charm fades, looks fade. Status can be lost overnight. But respect, that's what keeps attraction alive when everything else changes. When a woman respects you, she listens to you. She trusts your decisions. She feels safe in your presence. Without respect, it doesn't matter how much she laughs at your jokes, how fun you are, or how good the chemistry feels. The moment respect dies, attraction dies with it. Let me tell you a story. There were two men, David, 46, and Chris, 44, both dated women in their 20s. David was charismatic. He always knew what to do to make her laugh. He took her out to good restaurants, showered her with gifts, and even dyed his hair so he'd look younger. Chris was less showy. He wasn't constantly cracking jokes, but he had something that David didn't. He respected himself, and he expected respect back. When his girlfriend tested him, he held his ground. When she pushed him past a line, he respectfully drew boundaries. He never yelled, never pleaded, never pursued. Guess who maintained the relationship? Chris. Because while David was busy being charming, Chris was being respected. And respect trumps charm every single time. Stoic lesson. Seneca once wrote, "A man who is everywhere is nowhere." What does that mean in relationships? It means if you try to spread yourself too thin, attempting to be all things, funny, young, flashy, entertaining, you end up being nothing. But when you stand firm in yourself, when you insist on respect without even demanding it, that's when you become someone she can't replace. Respect is gained not through charm, but through discipline. Now let me warn you, if you're an older man dating a younger woman, she will test you, not because she's cruel, but because she wants to know if you're the real deal.
She might
Tease you about your age, flirt with younger guys in front of you, try to push your boundaries. Why does she do this? To see if you'll break, to see if you'll lose your frame. And here's the secret. The minute you become reactive, jealous, or defensive, you blow it. But if you stay unflappable, unshaken, perhaps even laugh it off, her admiration of you increases. Reality. Too many older men try to win with charm. They think, if I can just be fun enough, if I can just impress her enough, if I can keep her laughing, she'll stay. Wrong. She doesn't linger for entertainment. She lingers because you're a rock in her storm. She can have entertainment from her friends. She can have jokes from guys her age. But she can't readily find respect for a man who leads with calm authority. That's rare. That's why it's powerful. So let me ask you, do you worry more about being liked or about being respected? Because if what you want is to be liked, you'll accommodate, you'll compromise, you'll perform. But if what you want is to be respected, you'll stand up tall, you'll live on values, you'll set boundaries. Which one do you believe builds long-term attraction? Practical Stoic advice. So here's what you can do starting today. Set boundaries. Don't be afraid to say no when something crosses the line. Don't over-explain. A Stoic man doesn't justify his every move. He leads with actions, not words. Be consistent. Respect is built by showing the same calmness day after day, no matter what tests come. Do these three things, and you'll find that women may like many men, but they'll only respect a few. Be that man. So remember this, charm is temporary, but respect is permanent. Younger women will be attracted to your confidence, but they'll only remain where you keep them in respect. And in the second half, we'll carry this a step further. We'll discuss power dynamics in age gap relationships. Why the age gap brings an unusual power balance, and how you, being an older man, need to approach it with wisdom, not dominate. Part 5. Power dynamics in age gap relationships. In the previous part, we revealed a powerful truth. Younger women don't stay for charm, they stay for respect. Now let's discuss something even more profound. Something that most men shy away from. Power dynamics. See, when there's an age difference, there's also a power imbalance. Sometimes the older guy has more experience in life, more resources, more self-assurance. Other times the younger woman is powerful because she's young, she's pretty, she's popular. And if you don't know how to navigate this dynamic, one of two things is going to happen. You'll try to dominate her and she'll resent you. Or you'll give her all the power, and she'll lose respect for you. The Stoic path is neither. The Stoic path is balance. Why power exists in age gaps? Let's be real for a second. An older man usually has more financial stability, more life experience, more emotional maturity, while a younger woman often has youth, energy, beauty, high social demand. These are different forms of power. The problem? Most men panic when they feel this imbalance. Some try to over-control. They get jealous, possessive, and start policing her behavior. Others swing the opposite way. They pedestalize her, spoil her, and end up being used. Both destroy attraction. Let's look at two examples. Robert, 50, begins dating Claire, 26. He's aware of the age difference, so he becomes controlling. He does not allow her to go out with friends, checks her phone records, and is always reminding her how fortunate she is to be with him. Initially, Claire allows it, but then she goes. Not due to the age difference, but because Robert made control a prison. Now consider Michael, 47. He too dates a younger woman, but rather than controlling her, he spoils her rotten. Costly presents, constant affirmation, doing whatever to make her happy. Initially, she loves it, but soon she finds she doesn't respect him. He had given her all the power. Both men lost. Why? Because they botched the power dynamic. Stoic lesson. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." What does this translate to in relationships? It means, rather than fighting for dominance, be the man that she tends to respect naturally. A Stoic man doesn't attempt to control others. He controls himself. He doesn't relinquish all his power either. He maintains his frame, lives by his principles, and leads calmly. And this is the best part. When you do this, the balance of power works itself out. She doesn't feel trapped, but she doesn't feel in charge of the relationship either. She feels secure beneath your consistent touch. Reality. Gentlemen, let's cut to the chase. You can't prevent a younger woman from having choices. She'll always have young men her age pursuing her. That's reality. But here's what you can do. You can be the guy who doesn't get rattled by that reality. The guy who doesn't compete with boys. The guy who knows his worth without over-controlling or over-giving. Because the truth is, she's not with you because of what you can control. She's with you because of the energy you bring. So let me ask you, when you're with a younger woman, do you find yourself controlling every little thing she does? Or do you do the opposite, over-giving, over-proving, hoping she won't leave? Because both extremes reveal one thing, fear. And women can smell fear. But when you stand unflappable in the middle, when you neither control nor beg, that's when she feels your strength. Practical Stoic advice. So how do you manage the power dynamic the Stoic way? 3 rules. Lead by example. Don't insist on respect. Live a life that commands it. Set boundaries, not chains. You can maintain standards without controlling, such as, if you want to party every night, okay, that's not the kind of relationship I want. Stay rooted in reality. Acknowledge that she has choices, but also don't forget, you offer a whole lot more than beauty or youth. You offer wisdom, guidance, and stability. That's your strength. So the truth is this. Power structures in age gap relationships will always be present. But you don't come out on top by dominating, and you don't come out on top by offering it all up. You come out on top by being balanced. And in the second half, we'll delve even further into the heart of what women desire from older men: emotional mastery. Because if you're not able to master your emotions, you'll never master the course of the relationship. Part 6. Emotional mastery. In the previous part, we delved into the dynamics of power in age gap relationships. We observed how balance, not weakness, not control, gives rise to respect. But now, let us discuss something even more significant: emotional mastery. Because here's the reality. If you're an older guy who dates younger ladies, there will be occasions when she tests you. She may press your buttons, push your patience, or even make you feel insecure. And how you react in those moments determines everything. Why emotional mastery is important. Most men think women leave due to age or looks or money. That's not the whole picture. The true cause. A lot of older men break down emotionally. They become jealous, they become insecure, they become needy. And younger women, already being emotional in nature, don't want another dynamic of chaos. They want the opposite. They desire a man who remains unshaken, a man who does not act like a boy, a man who can make them feel safe, even in stormy weather. That is where Stoicism steps in. Let me describe 2 situations. Chris, age 48, is seeing a younger woman. She receives attention one night at a party. Chris becomes triggered. He accuses her, begins an argument, and destroys the evening. He believes that his rage demonstrates that he loves her, but it actually serves to demonstrate only that he is insecure. Now visualize Daniel, 52. He's also dating a younger woman. Same scenario. Other men glance at her. But rather than reacting, Daniel smiles, remains calm, and conducts himself with quiet confidence. She senses his calmness, and rather than moving away, she feels more secure with him. Both men were tested the same way. One didn't make it, one did. And it wasn't about age, it was about emotional mastery. Stoic lesson. Epictetus once stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That is the essence of emotional mastery. You can't dictate what a younger woman does. You can't dictate her friends, her decisions, or who glances at her. But you can dictate how you react. And that reaction is what determines whether she perceives you as a strong man or just another insecure boy. Here's the truth. Younger women unconsciously test older men. Not that they're manipulative, but they desire to feel your strength. React emotionally. Anger, jealousy, desperation. You failed the test. Remain calm, centered, and grounded. You pass. Because women do not follow emotion. They follow the man who can control his emotions. Think about your own life. When was the last time you overreacted with a woman? Perhaps you became jealous. Perhaps you lost your cool. Perhaps you pleaded. Did it make her respect you more or less? Be honest with yourself. Because every man has had this moment. The question is, did you learn from it? Stoic advice. So how do you control your emotions in these relationships? 3 Stoic methods. Pause before you respond. Count to 5 before speaking. Oftentimes, the gap between emotion and reaction is where wisdom resides. Detach from ego. Don't interpret her behavior as threatening your value. Your worth isn't defined by someone else's actions. Respond with calm authority. If you get crossed, you can correct it strongly, but not in anger. Anger is noise, calm is power. Remember, silence often speaks louder than shouting. Picture the relationship as a ship. She is the sails, sometimes catching wind, sometimes mercurial. But you are the anchor. If the anchor trembles, the entire ship is wrecked. If the anchor remains steady, no tempest can bring it down. So here's reality. Younger women don't desire older men due to money or age. What they desire is the peace and stability energy most men their age can't provide. Emotional mastery is the ultimate attraction. And in the next part, we'll go deeper into another trap many older men fall into, trying to buy loyalty with money and gifts. Because respect can never be purchased, it must be earned. Part 7. The Money and Gifts Trap. In the previous installment, we spoke of emotional mastery, the serene strength younger women are hungry for in an older man. But here's where most men blow it all. They attempt to purchase loyalty. They think if they only spend enough on gifts, on trips, on expensive dinners, she'll remain. But here's the cold truth. When you substitute money for respect, you've already lost. Why men do this? Why do older men fall into this trap? Because secretly, they feel insecure about the age difference. They're thinking, she's younger, she's prettier, she could have anyone, so I need to compensate. And what do they compensate with? Their wallet. But let me ask you this. Would you respect a man who constantly tried to buy your friendship? Probably not. You'd take the gifts, but you wouldn't take him seriously. Women are no different. Let me share a real-life example. Mark, 55, started dating a 28-year-old woman. At first, he showered her with gifts, jewelry, designer clothes, weekend trips. She enjoyed it, of course. But as months passed, she grew distant. When Mark tried to connect emotionally, she wasn't interested. Why? Because from day one, he trained her to value the things he gave, not the man he was. The relationship grew transactional. And as with most transactions, when the incentives ceased, so did her allegiance. Stoic wisdom. Seneca once said, "Wealth is the slave of a wise man and the master of a fool." You can use money as a tool to enrich life, but if you use it as a chain to enslave someone, then you are enslaved. The aim isn't to purchase her, it's to create her respect. And respect can never be bought. It has to be earned through character, wisdom, and coolness. Reality check. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with being generous, taking her out, having good experiences. That's okay. The problem is when generosity becomes an excuse for a lack of self-worth. If the only thing that keeps her from leaving you is what she gets from you, she's not with you. She's with your wallet. And the day someone wealthier comes along, she's gone. Consider this. Are you leading with your wallet or with your presence? Would she keep your time if you were to stop gifting tomorrow, or would she vanish? Your response to that question will say everything about the foundation of your relationship. Practical advice. So how do you stay out of this trap? 3 principles. Give experiences, not bribes. Share experiences that create connection. Walks, talks, adventures, not constant material diversions. Lead with presence. A man who is fully present, who listens, who gets respect through silence is more valuable than any present. Test balance. Periodically recede from material giving and observe whether or not the connection remains intact. If it falters, you can be certain that it wasn't authentic. For love built upon money isn't love, it's rent. Visual metaphor. Picture this. You build a house, you can put gold walls on it, but if the foundation is bad, the whole thing collapses. It's the same here. Gold may put walls on the relationship, but respect is the foundation. Without respect, it all comes down. So here's the real deal. Younger women don't stay for older men and gifts. They stay for strength, wisdom, and growth. And in the next part, we'll go deeper into another mistake older men make, trying to act young again to impress her. Because nothing kills attraction faster than an older man pretending to be what he's not. Part 8. The trap of pretending to be young. Last time, we discussed money and presence, and how to purchase loyalty is the quickest method to shed it. But there is an additional error that is just as ruinous. It is when older men attempt desperately to be younger, trying to impress a young lady. They disguise their age, color their hair, imitate teen fashions, pursue youthful vitality, only to be a caricature of themselves. Why men do this? Why does this happen? Because on some level, many men are afraid their age is a liability. They think, if I don't seem young, she won't be interested in me. So rather than appreciating wisdom, they pursue youth. But here's the irony. The very thing that makes you appealing to a younger woman is your age. Your maturity, your earthiness, your depth. If she wanted childishness, she would simply date someone her age. Let me give you an example. David, 52, began dating a 30-year-old woman. Rather than embracing who he was, he attempted to live like her 25-year-old friends. Late-night parties, overindulging in alcohol, faking an interest in TikTok trends. She first laughed, but then she lost respect. She didn't want another boy. She wanted a man. And the more that David behaved like a teenager, the more invisible he became. Stoic lesson. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." A younger woman doesn't need you to behave young. She needs you to be steady, wise, and secure in your own identity. Play acting at being someone you aren't is the opposite of Stoicism. It's pursuing externals and forsaking virtue. Reality. Here's the truth. Aging isn't your enemy. It's your leverage. Gray hair, wrinkles, soft speech, patience. These are marks of experience. When you conceal them, you discard your best asset. You don't have to play the competition of the younger men on their turf. You must make them obsolete, playing your game, the game of wisdom, self-discipline, depth. Ask you some questions. Let me ask you this. If you removed the loud clothes, the colored hair, the artificial energy, what would be left? Would you still be proud of the man in the mirror? Because that's the you she really wants to see. Stoic advice. So how do you own your age with strength? Own your look. Dress sharp, not flashy. Make your style mature, not copied. Own your wisdom. Share wisdom, anecdotes, lessons from your life. This is your own edge. Lead by energy. Don't chase her pace, lead the pace. Move slower, talk softer, project authority. She'll follow. Remember, she doesn't want you to be 25. She has 25-year-olds all around her. She wants the solidity of a man who's been through fire and learned. Visual metaphor. Imagine a lighthouse. A lighthouse doesn't chase the boats. It stands firm, unwavering, pointing the way with its light. That's what an older man does. Not to prance around copying youth, but to be a pillar of strength. So stop trying to compete with younger guys by acting like one. Instead, own what makes you unusual: maturity, patience, presence. Because in the second half, we're going to tackle something even riskier: the trap of rushing physical intimacy. Too many older guys sabotage great relationships by rushing too quickly, confusing lust with connection. And if you can't see the difference, you'll never create something that lasts. Part 9. The trap of hurrying physical intimacy. In the previous segment, we discussed the risk of faking youth, how it eliminates attraction rather than generating it. But let's discuss a blunder that erodes trust quicker than anything else. It's when older men hurry intimacy, attempting to bypass the connection steps. The truth. Here's the truth. Younger women already expect more out of you: more maturity, more patience, more control. But when you rush the physical too quickly, what does that say? It says you're desperate. It says you don't think you can keep her interested otherwise. And worse, it makes her feel like you objectify her, not as a woman. Let me tell you a story. Consider Robert, age 48, who began dating a 29-year-old co-worker. They had drinks, and the spark was palpable. But rather than letting the evening be whatever it became, Robert made his move with kisses before she was ready, invading her space too soon. Her vibe changed. She stepped away, and within a week, she ceased responding to his texts. Why? Because Robert transformed what might have been respect and desire into pressure and unease. Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And that's true here too. If you can't manage your desires, if you can't pace yourself and allow things to happen naturally, then you're not in control. And women, particularly young women, can feel a lack of control in an instant. Think about this. When did you ever feel pressured into something? Did you enjoy it, or did you feel like getting out? That's precisely how she feels when you are moving too quickly. The right method. So what do you do instead? Let tension build. Don't hurry to touch. Let your energy, your eye contact, your being build the spark. Pay attention to her comfort. Pay attention to her cues. If she leans forward, touches you, or opens herself up, that's your go signal. Appreciate the moment. Keep in mind, intimacy is not the destination. It's the result of connection. By taking it slow, you don't lose anything. You gain instead more respect, more trust, and more attraction. Visual metaphor. Imagine it as a fire. If you pour gas on it, it burns up quickly. But if you fuel it slowly, log by log, it burns hotter and longer. Racing towards intimacy is like pouring gas. Slowing down is like creating a sustained flame. Stoic frame. You're not a man chasing pleasure, you're a man of discipline. And discipline in intimacy is allowing things to happen naturally, not pushing them. That's what makes a younger woman find you unusual, because most men your age cannot do that. So we've discussed the trap of moving too quickly into intimacy. But there's one more error that older men do with younger women, and it's the most damaging of the lot. It's when they begin surrendering their sense of self in order to keep her. In the final section, part 10, we'll discuss how getting lost is the quickest method of losing everything, and how Stoicism shows you to stay unshakable regardless of whoever enters your life. Part 10, never lose yourself for a younger woman. We've talked about respect, patience, discipline, and maturity. But now, let's finish with the most dangerous mistake older men make when dating younger women. It's when they give up their own identity just to keep her interested. The danger. Here's what happens. A younger woman brings excitement, youth, freshness. The older man feels alive again. But gradually, he begins altering all this, his attire, his views, his timetable, even his principles, only to become a part of her universe. And in the process, he loses himself. And let me tell you, if you lose yourself, she will lose respect for you. Here is a story. Take Daniel, 52, a confident, forceful man, but then he begins to date a 27-year-old, and suddenly he cuts out his old mates, drops his hobbies, even begins imitating her slang. At first, she thought it was funny, but then she saw that Daniel was no longer the man she had revered. He had become a shadow, and once that occurs, the magic is lost. Stoic wisdom. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." Losing yourself over someone else is just that, never really living. Because your life is no longer led by your values, it's led by your fear of losing her. The lesson? Here's the truth. If a younger woman is attracted to you, it's because of your strength, your presence, your maturity, your identity. If you throw that away, what do you have left? Nothing. The moment you lose yourself is the moment she loses you. Practical advice. So how do you shield yourself? Stay grounded in your values. Never sacrifice your fundamentals for attraction. Keep your own life. Hold on to your routines, friendships, hobbies, and passions. Be prepared to walk away. If being with her requires losing yourself, that's not love, that's self-annihilation. Because the man who can walk away is the man who never loses himself. Visual metaphor. Imagine it like a tree. The deeper your roots, the firmer you're standing in any storm. If you lop off your roots just to lean towards someone else, you'll collapse the minute the wind shifts. Final Stoic fram. As a Stoic man, you don't pursue youth. You don't plead for love. You don't distort your identity to hold on to someone. You live by reason, by discipline, by self-respect. And when you do, younger women and all women see you as something rare, a man who is complete within himself. Final message. So remember, never boast of your status, never compare with her youth, never rush intimacy, and most importantly, never lose yourself. Because the worst thing an older man can ever do with a younger woman is to forget who he is. Stay grounded, stay disciplined, stay stoic. If this video made you think and provided you with value, then be sure to give it a like. It helps this channel grow considerably. And if you want more Stoic insights on love, mindset, and relationships, do not forget to subscribe and click the bell so you never miss the next lesson. Share this with a friend who needs to hear it, because sometimes just one insight can change someone's entire life. Stay strong, stay disciplined, and I'll catch you in the next video.